that this girl is one of the best young talents in tennis. I told you she's got the popularity of a rock star around the world. There's people all over the Philippines going crazy because she has beaten Iga Świątek, the defending champion, on the centre court with a quite fantastic performance.
Well, it was great for me to see her live and being up close and personal, and I was so impressed with her. What I was impressed with was her mental fortitude, her strength, her mentality. She was the one who looked like she had the 6 major titles. It wasn't Iga Świątek. Iga Świątek was anxious.
Alex Eala may have arrived in England expecting another tough day on the tennis court, but the reception waiting for her was anything but ordinary. The crowd erupted whenever she appeared. The atmosphere felt fit for royalty, and whispers even began spreading that the king himself was connected to the occasion. So why did this tournament suddenly turn into such a huge celebration, and what happened afterward that pushed the story far beyond tennis? At Court Scoop, we bring you only the truth. Let's break down what really happened.
To describe it, I mean, I'm into the second week of a slam, and it's amazing for me. Iga is a phenomenal player and a really nice person, so I'm really grateful to be able to share center court with her at Wimbledon nonetheless. Yeah, I'm really emotional, and maybe for someone like Iga, who has won so many slams, or maybe someone like Serena or Venus, this achievement may seem small, but for someone who grew up in the Philippines and...
Before we dive in, there's one thing you need to know about Alex Eala's 65-mile-per-hour serve. It just beat a 6-time Grand Slam champion, and it has almost nothing to do with power.
Starting off, Alex Eala takes out Iga Świątek in straight sets. Alex Eala is the first Filipino singles player, whether that's on the men's side or the women's side, to reach the second week of Wimbledon. The Filipino community rides for Alex Eala, so this is amazing for them and amazing for Alex. And for the Iga fans, I do think that Iga struggles mentally a little bit. We saw that first tiebreak, which was really, really intense. Iga lost it, and then I think she kind of just...
On July 4th, 2026, on center court at Wimbledon, Alexandra Eala defeated defending champion Iga Świątek 7-6, 9, 6-2. And look, this isn't really an upset story. This is a systems failure story. The system that failed belonged to Świątek.
The way that Eala went about this match, fantastic to see. We love to see the confidence she kind of came across with, the ability to get down low to hit winners, just unbelievable. And she's obviously carrying the hope and the expectation of her ridiculously strong fan base that follows her around. So an utterly well-deserved win from her. She won despite the fact that she was also stretching out her legs visibly. That first set especially went to a tie-break, and it was so back and forth, so back and forth. I can't remember if Świątek has a set.
For most of her career, Eala's serve has been treated as the obvious hole in her game. But against Świątek, that so-called weakness became the exact mechanism that took apart a 6-time major champion's return game, point by point, for 2 hours and 14 minutes. Świątek didn't lose because Eala hit harder. She lost because Eala hit slower, and her entire offseason had been built to solve a completely different problem.
Has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Alexandra Eala is here, and she's here to dominate. Today, she had the biggest win of her whole career, and so many records were smashed today for her. She's just knocked out the defending champion Iga Świątek straight sets in her first match at center court to become the first Filipino player to ever make it to the second week of a Grand Slam. Listen to what I'm saying. This is historical stuff from Eala. Everything about her epitomizes the brilliance of what she is. The grit, the determination, the way she plays attracts so many people.
Start with the coaching trail. After parting with Tomasz Wiktorowski, then Wim Fissette in March 2026, Świątek brought in Francisco Roig, who'd spent 18 years on Rafael Nadal's coaching staff. Roig's approach leaned on continuous high-volume on-court training. Świątek even trained alongside Nadal himself in Mallorca, and the goal was specific: fix the footwork, get rid of the harsh, unbalanced steps that had hurt her on grass. Start with the coaching trail.
And when you graduated, it wasn't just Rafa who handed you your diploma, it was Iga Świątek.
It's insane to think how much has changed in the past 3 years. But I do remember I was so excited to see her because every year for graduation in the academy, they would get a guest, kind of like a guest sports star and athlete. And that year, I remember we got Iga, and I was so excited because I was like, oh, hopefully we get someone good. And she like threw her hat.
That's a movement fix. It is not a returning fix. Świątek showed up at the All-England club still searching for comfort, coming off an early loss at the Bad Homburg tune-up. The overhaul was real. It just happened to be aimed at the wrong opponent's game entirely. And that wasn't the only warning sign she'd ignored.
Far the best set of tennis I've seen throughout the championships. What I love about Eala is she's so clear on what she has to do tactically. Tactically super astute out there. Going in the body serve on the outside was a key play. Also the way she stood in on the second serve, right inside the baseline, dictating the return and getting on the front foot. She was very clear what she had to do. She handled the pressure better. And then after a brutal first set, she gets off to a tear for love, comes out, closes it out, defeats the defending champion. And if she can keep improving that serve, that's the one area in her game which is a little bit of weakness, because when she gets tight, it dropped to about 69 miles an hour. If she can get that serve about 107, 110, this is somebody who's going to win the Wimbledon Championship one day and possibly get to the top 5 in the world. She is that.
World number 4. Jessica Pegula had already called out the exact pattern Eala would go on to exploit. An off-pace serve is hard to return for one simple reason. There's no incoming power to redirect, no rhythm to borrow, no pace to punish. And on a grass court that rewards early timing, that left Świątek generating 100% of her own power on every single return, over and over for 2 sets.
Even in Australia at the start of the year, where there was queues to watch her play, now there's going to be numerous amount of queues to even get tickets to her. If you got to watch her before, lucky you, because now she's definitely going to be in the main courts. Iga Świątek is going to be out of the top 5 rankings now, and she fails to defend that title she won last year. But the day belongs to Eala. She's into the second week. My goodness me, Philippines fans must be...
That's where things started to shift. Eala's first serve was sitting around 80 miles per hour. In her very next match against Jasmine Powell, it dropped as low as 65. Against a returner like Świątek and someone whose whole baseline rhythm depends on borrowed pace, that gap wasn't a limitation. It was the plan. And the numbers back it up, even in the moments where the surface stats say otherwise.
Start with Alexandra Eala's biggest win of her career. Yes, she did beat Iga Świątek in 2025 at the Miami tournament, but this time she beat Świątek on center court of Wimbledon, which is the biggest stage that we have in the game of tennis. And Alexandra did it in a spectacular fashion. One of the best matches, if not the best match that I've ever seen her play. Prior to the match, I said that it's going to come down to the first serve percentage. Both players needed to serve well to have a chance. And while I don't think that Iga had a poor serving day per se, she did make 68% first serves. The problem came on Iga's second serve. It is here where Iga delivered 5 double faults and only won 32% of her second.
Świątek actually out-hit Eala in winners 32-24, but she also racked up 44 unforced errors and 5 double faults compared to Eala's 21 unforced errors and 0 double faults. Breakpoints converted, Eala 71.4%, Świątek 27.3%, total points won, Eala 92, Świątek 78.
I just cannot get over how good that first set was. It was like ludicrously good. It was like an hour and 25 minutes. And the second set went long as well, just because it was a bit topsy-turvy, but Eala won it relatively straightforward. Just an incredible result for Eala. I'm so happy for her. Świątek, where does she go from here? Her forehand especially was just visibly hindering her entire game. And players can have like stronger shots, of course you can do that, but Świątek's forehand is like notably holding her back, notably taking confidence out of the rest of her game. She was visibly getting frustrated multiple times, just like, and she needs to go away and just work on that especially. And just there was a little bit, you know, of a sign of like fight back in that second set, but like there was never really kind of an expectation.
So Świątek wasn't beaten by aggression. She beat herself, trying to manufacture power the match was never going to hand her. And this is exactly where the momentum physically turned. Fourth game, second set. Eala's up 3-0, facing a break point. Świątek rips a deep ground stroke that sends Eala scrambling sideways. Eala's shoes lose their grip on the grass, and instead of giving up the point, she launches herself horizontally, fully airborne, and somehow gets her racket under the ball anyway. Świątek still wins that particular point at net, but the dive lights up center court, and something in Świątek's composure never quite recovers. She won just 9 of 20 net points the rest of the match. She shanked 2 routine drive volleys in that same stretch. Meanwhile, Eala reels off a 4-0 run right after the dive and seals the set.
Eala continues to make history. She became the first Filipino singles player to reach the round of 16 at a major, and she did it in quite stunning fashion, defeating the defending ladies champion Iga Świątek 7-6, 6-2. The first set was about like 90 minutes long. It was a high quality, pretty entertaining first set from both women, and we saw a number of breaks of serve from them both, and Eala did what she does best. I expected her to do this, which is to attack Iga's second serve relentlessly, and it's smart because Świątek doesn't respond the best to pace, and she doesn't like being rushed, and Alex did a great job of rushing her throughout this entire match, and we saw a number of wildly hit forehands from.
When an opponent won't yield a point, even airborne, even off balance, it sends a message no scouting report can prepare you for, and what this produced goes way beyond one match. Eala's win made her the first player representing the Philippines in the Open era to reach the second week of a Grand Slam singles tournament. That serve, the one everyone wrote off as her weakest shot, is the reason a nation now has a second-week Grand Slam player for the first time in the Open era. Here's the part that's still unresolved. Świątek has this match on film now, so does every future opponent. Eala's serve speed advantage only works as long as it's a surprise, not once it's scouted. Her hardcourt season picks up at the Mubadala DC Open, then moves to the WTA 1000 in Toronto. The serve that just took down a 6-time major champion on grass is about to face opponents who've had weeks to study exactly what happened on center court. Does the weapon survive contact with a scouting report? DC is about to give us the answer.
Alexandra Eala, who has the slowest average speed on her second serve in the top 50 of the WTA Tour rankings. Alexandra won 55% of her second serve points, and she also got 62% of first serves in play. And if you're confused by these numbers, let me simplify it for you. Alexandra Eala happens to have one of the best, if not the best, second serve returns on the WTA Tour. So the reason why I said Iga needed to get a high first serve percentage, which she did in this match, is that Iga happens to be a player who rolls her second serve. In other words, she kicks a lot of her second serves. Now, Iga knows how good Eala is on the returner serve, and that explains the 5 double faults, because this is where Iga was trying to put a little bit more pressure.
Alex Eala did not get a phone call from King Charles III. No letter, no statement, no audience at Buckingham Palace. None of it happened. And yet within days of her Wimbledon 4th round run, a headline claiming exactly that had already racked up hundreds of thousands of views. So that's the reality. The story claiming that King Charles congratulated Alex Eala after her Wimbledon success was completely fabricated. Thanks for watching. What do you think about this story? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update